race recap and talking about what race is next while we get through a day in my life of working out today. So we have a heavy leg session today, followed by a hard bike, followed by a run, and right now we're kicking it off with a 10-minute warm-up before we hit some heavy squats. Let's do it. All right, so race day recap. So this was the Salina, Kansas Marathon, which is a pretty flat and fast course, just with one or two big hills that you have to do twice. So I was pretty confident, pretty excited to hopefully PR. So my PR was a 2:52.17, and that's what I wanted to beat, but really I wanted to get under 250. So the race day morning, it was a torrential downpour. I mean, like, absolutely just coming down. It was like 0.75 to 1 inch per hour. So it was just raining everywhere, which for me, I was excited about because I love running in the rain. Now, truthfully, none of my buddies were going to be able to run this with me, but there was one of the runners named Joey who was going to do the first 2 miles with me. And the goal was a 650, 640, and then a 630. He was going to stay at the 640 per mile pace, and then I was going to ride the 630 per mile pace for about the first 13 miles. And once the race got started, I could already tell that I just wasn't feeling 100%. Some days you like really have a bounce in your step, and then other days it's just like, let's get through this. And for me, it was one of those days where the body was just a little fatigued, and I knew it was gonna be just where I get through it. So the goal was 630 per mile pace up until mile 13, and then see what we had from there. So when we look at my splits for the first few miles, we see mile 1 was a 653, mile 2, 642, mile 3, 631. So we were right on pace to hit what we wanted to do. And then when we go through, you'll see that there's a hill in here. We go 627, 627, 629, and then we get to where the hills are, and it was like a good amount of elevation. So the goal was to slow down a little bit here, save the heart rate, and then catch up on the descent. We hit 636, 634, but then unfortunately mile 9, I had to use the bathroom break, and I ran into that porta potty like as fast as possible, shook the porta potty a little bit, did my business, and got out of there, and then we were back on track. And then going to mile 13, we hit a 621, 623, and then it was time to get to the second half of the marathon. So the first half of the marathon, I ran a pretty decent half, I would say. Like definitely conserved, felt okay. Not like I could really push a ton, but still felt okay. And my nutrition was on point. As you guys saw in the previous videos, I was aiming for about a gel every 20-ish minutes. So that's 300 calories per hour through gels. And then every aid station drinking as much Gatorade as I could and then splashing water on me. So through 13 point miles, we were right on track. Once I got over those hills and I started going down the downhill, I honestly was feeling pretty good. And so I was like, you know what, it is time to turn it on, see what I have left in the tank for the last 4 miles. In this whole race, I was like running on an island. There was no one around me, no one to run with. It was just me, myself, and I, with the wind, with the rain, with the conditions. And so I knew, based off my watch, I was right on pace to hit the 250 mark. And so I was really, really excited about that. But I knew I was gonna have to push it extremely hard the last 4 miles and see what I had left in the tank. All right, I believe we have somewhere around 365 loaded up on the bar as we continue to warm up. So then we have the last few miles to finish the race. Let's check out these splits, what we have. So the last one going up the hill was 644. After that, we had 627, 632, 629, 625. Oh, sorry, one more. And then my last mile was a 609. Now, truthfully, at the end, this last mile, I just tried to turn it on and see what I had. And when I finished the race, I felt like I still had some more in the tank. And that's the thing with marathon training is like, you're flirting this line of redlining, bonking, versus not hitting your goal time, versus getting everything out of you to PR or to do well. And unfortunately, I think I was a little too cautious. Like I didn't flirt with that line enough because when I finished, I felt like I still had some in the tank, especially with running a 609. So this gave me a finishing time of 251, I think it was 251.40 or 251.47. So I PR'd, which was awesome, but unfortunately I did not break that 250 mark, but that's okay. It was a crazy fun day. It's the Salina, Kansas Marathon. I would definitely recommend doing that race. I'm gonna be doing it every single year. So if you're there next year, I will be joining you. But overall, very happy with the race. Executed my nutrition perfectly, executed my hydration perfectly. I think I could have just paced it a little bit better. So as we finish up this squat session, I will tell you what's next. The next race is in 4 weeks. So as we get into this Ironman prep, the goals over the next 4 weeks really are to get back into the pool consistently. And so ideally we'd love to be getting into the pool 3 times a week. Swimming is my least favorite discipline of the 3, so I do not swim nearly enough, hence why I'm not very good at it. But how I got started swimming was the book Total Immersion. Highly recommend reading it. A fantastic book, has helped me a ton. In terms of cycling, I'll be cycling 3 to 4 times a week, really trying to get my time in the saddle up so that I can maintain a certain power output on the bike throughout the race. And then running, just staying consistent running. I'll be running 20 to 30 miles a week from here until race day. And then hopefully on race day, we'll be able to PR. Another one of my favorite current songs right now to get me jacked to get this workout in. Unfortunately, it's a deload set, but either way, we're gonna stay strong, get it done. Let's get it, let's get it. The legs are burning. The hard cycling session is done. Now we just have a 15-minute run to finish off the session. And that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you guys comment, ask any questions you guys have about the training for the 70.3 World Championship. And until next week, remember that you are greatly, greatly loved, that you are wonderfully and beautifully created, that you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. See you guys next week.